Look at them. Okay, and now we're live. Oh, I have to mute this so I don't do the amateur.
Mic check. Love everybody.
Say hello to Jane and Robert.
Hello. It's good
And
to
I'll
see
tell you a
guys.
little. I'll tell you a little bit more about them here very soon.
Shut my phone off. It's 6-inch right. That's actually stage left, but he's counting.
Yeah.
But he's counting.
Well, hello everybody. I'm probably going to have to adjust these lights. Remember, this is Beta Studio. Let me just check my mic here. Can you hear me? Check, 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 check. Give me a mic check here in the chat room. We'll just do a few technical checks before we get started, since this is a live show. And this whole piece, or we'll just get to the content. We may edit the pieces out so we can we don't inundate people with personal things. But I wanted to do some checks here, just let you know this is the new studio. It's not complete yet. It is in the making. Let me just put it that way. But it's a remarkable place, and the things that we've done allows us to have the green screen behind us. And this is only, this portion of the studio is only going to be for this type of a live show. And then we have other pieces of the studio that are going to be designed for having guests coming on, 3 microphones, different cameras. So I can bring folks into this studio and have very detailed conversations, and you get to see their reactions. And not only that, we're going to have the ability to really move around and be live here on this property, because where we're at has been dedicated for the ministry. And what I mean by that is that we have amazing supporters, people that have supported this ministry in remarkable ways and given us a place to have a ministry. And I cannot explain what it's like to be in this position right now, particularly with where the world's at, with everything that is taking place right now and what is going on, which is going to be many of the things that I'm talking about. But it's going to be critically important for this ministry to do what it's supposed to do, because it isn't just making videos on YouTube. This is about helping people through times that they never saw coming, but we did. And it's not about subscribership. It's not about people subscribing on the channel. YouTube and everything else is nothing like you ever thought it was. It's completely changed, just along with everything else, right? They have to create the new normal. And of course, this is a global reset in everything, and we're going to cover some of that here. And that reset is intended to jar the living crap out of you. Here, let me try this little beep. It's intended to jar the living out of you. Did that beep work? Just want to check. What is taking place is about fear. So why would I come on here and do their work? Why would we do that? Well, it's different. So this is what I wanted to start with today. And I wanted to talk to you about waking up every single day, and even multiple times through the day, and reminding yourself and those around you, those that you have to live with, those that you will be enduring these things with. Remind them of where we're at. So when you're having conversations about anything at all, an argument about what should go where and what should happen there, and should we do that and should we do this, remind yourself of those daily tasks that you're discussing. Should we get a P.O. box? What should we do? Any question that becomes a potential argument, or should we place that over there? Anything. What should we do with our money? What should we do? The questions that people ask are not answerable from a single man to the multitudes, with the exception to say, forget about those things. Remind yourself of where we're at. Remind yourself of what is happening in our day. Every single day. It's not like there's nothing new. We are watching everything take place just as it was promised. So why is anyone startled? So I want to say that I don't want to add to that fear. And that's never what this is about. What this is about is pointing out to you things that are taking place. And the reason why is so you can remind yourself of where you're at, because the world has such a strong draw on us, this flesh, that, oh no, somewhere in the back of your mind, it might return. No, not when people like Jimmy Dore, who is not woke as far as we would say woke. He's not spiritually inclined at all. He doesn't have that yet. But he sees everything taking place politically. And he said, folks, we are at a point where you will never vote your way out of this. That's a serious statement from somebody that isn't one of us here on this channel watching this video. They're not where we're at. But it shows you in the world what is taking place and the gravity of the things that are beginning to bubble up and becoming visible. Where have I heard that? Visible, revealed. Yeah, apocalypse. Exactly. We are not talking about something other than, oh, could this be the apocalypse? Really? Really? There isn't the reason why this is becoming difficult for YouTubers is because the amount of information, the amount of atrocities, the amount of things taking place in the world is so overwhelming. How the hell do you pick something to talk about other than to say, look at this place, it's blowing up? Because it is. So when we're talking about these things and showing you these things, it's only to make sure that you have a reminder to remind yourself that when you're having a conversation about things in life right now, before you do have that conversation, and remind everybody where we're at, so you can now put a priority on the things and say, is it really a priority that happens when what's happening? Let's focus our attention on the things that really matter. And that's what's inside of you. Now, we've had some time off here, but it certainly hasn't been time off of work, because I don't think we've ever worked as hard as we have in the past 2 months. The most wonderful things have taken place. Challenges, yes, of course. We're in this world. But what is taking place and what is being built is difficult to describe, because it is truly a group of people that you will be able to count on for whatever we can possibly provide to you to wherever you're at. What that looks like, I have no idea. All I can tell you is that when you find yourself amongst people that actually see it and get it and understand it and support it, they're willing to work through the things. They're willing to take the cuts. They're willing to fall. They're willing to be bruised. They're willing to be battered. They're willing to lay and be stomped on to accomplish what needs to be accomplished. On whose behalf? On anybody that's willing to listen. And I would call them blessed. Not because of us, but because of what powers us, all of us. Or we don't do this. We just don't. Who would want to? Who wants to do this? You want to do it because you're asked to do it. And when you're shown what it does and accomplishes, you're essentially shown the end of it. So I'm willing to endure whatever's in the middle of it, because I know what the end looks like. So with that, and talking about what the world is going on, and also checking out the new studio setup here, it seems to be going okay. That's a blessing in and of itself. But let's let me share this screen here. I have to find where I can even do that right now. Okay. Oh, let me put something here. Let me put that on. Okay. There we go. Hold on. I have to share the audio. I'm sorry. 1 second. Greatly apologize. So we're discussing Beirut, and people asked in the comment section to talk about it. Well, anytime you're in that general area in the Middle East, everything is suspect. And for those of you that know what I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. Now, that's not a generalized people at all, but it's a very specific sect. And there's been a very, very long strategy in this area. So anything that takes place in this area of this magnitude never really seems like an accident, particularly during times right now. So this, what I'm going to show here, and make sure we've got this up. This is the explosion that is supposedly just some fireworks in Beirut. Now, however, this is on the docks right here. This is a major port section in Beirut. And I just want to point out right now, you'll see that building on the side where the smoke is billowing from right now. That little building in the center there, that actually doesn't even collapse after this explosion. Just keep that in mind for, thinking about other things. If that isn't the most terrifying scene you've ever seen of that shockwave coming up at you, then there's something wrong with you. So this explosion here that took place on these docks. Now I'm gonna verify, because many people have said, well, no, fireworks can't cause that type of explosion. I can promise you right now, firework factories have caused some of the largest explosions, even some that are bigger than Hiroshima. Plant factories, fuel factories, these things in different circumstances can cause those things to happen. So I'm not going to say without fail that this is absolutely somebody else's doing. However, the location, where it's at, its position, and more importantly, the timing of everything, particularly of what's going on in the annex of different sections, and something that we would know as Greater Israel, there is always, always the suspects here. So these are the Talmudists that we speak about. But let's look at this explosion, this shockwave one more time. Obviously, many dead. So that's the news in Beirut. And I'm going to tell you right now that I think that it's absolutely planned. But let me just jump to something else here. There are many different views. By the way, Twitter, if you ever go to Twitter and you want to follow my Twitter, it's The Global Witness, except with one S. Just that's all they would allow me to have. At The Global Witness on Twitter. I don't have that many followers on Twitter, not nearly as many subscribers as I have. So go ahead and pump that up. And if you're there, I'll add more content, because quite honestly, most of the followers that I have here, all of these people here were probably freaking out at half of my tweets, because this is a Twitter account that I used to have and changed the name from my days in tech and Hollywood. So hello to all of them. I hope you're enjoying the show. This is something that I wanted to show you here, and this took place in China. So look at this for a second, because and somebody else wanted me to address what's taking place and what potentially could be taking place within the asteroids and the asteroids that are coming. I'll do that after this. But here's the thing that I want to jump out of this share for a second so I can talk to you directly. The amazing thing about some of the things that we're seeing is when you've been someone like me that has gone very, very deep into ancient scriptures about these times in different languages and really wanted to understand what could these possibly mean in this time? What does it look like? Because I can tell you right now, aside from CV and all of that nonsense, this is a planned shutdown, and I'm going to be addressing that. This is a planned shutdown. This is, you know this. This is not a secret to you, but it's a planned financial and economic shutdown of the globe, said specifically from the people that actually run the economy, which is the Reserve, the Bank of International Settlements, and all the rest of the centralized banks that all report to the same folks. The ones that own everything, all of the banks, and by proxy, all of the banks own all of the companies. Hence, they own all of the output, which is why we have to be cagey about how we talk now on youtube.gov. It's why I have to be careful as to what I tweet on twitter.gov. Make no mistake about it, all of the deals that they have from the bailouts, so to speak, come with ties. It always does. A state says, hey, we're going to act independently as a state. The federal government says, well, we'll take all of your funding. And the state says, oh my God. Well, that's your problem. You sold yourself to the king. You gave up your independence. What did you do? Oh my gosh. You sold your inheritance for a bowl of soup. Sorry. Just the truth. But I wanted to bring this up because as we're going through all of these man-made calamities, there's also something taking place cosmologically, something that most people don't want to address, can't address because it makes you look like a complete idiot. So yes, we do have major people in the Pentagon, and I'm not, you can go to Israeli News Live. I'm not here to bring you the news. I'm here to talk about the things that are taking place. And my job is to address what I need, which is the spiritual guidance that allows me to supersede all of these things, which is why you're here today. It's why you're even listening. And if you're new and you're not thinking about that, well, then you better start, because that's the only place that you're going to have help. You won't find help in anything else. Your gold, your silver won't help you. Your money won't help you. That won't help you. Scripture is very clear. This only takes place in us, inside of us. So, but what I want to explain to you, and again, this isn't about fear. This is about showing you these things. So just like Christ said, I say these things to you, so when they happen, you know I'm truthful. There are things taking place on this earth because of the cosmological aspects. The earth is reacting. The earth itself is an entity, and it reacts. And this is why you can have in the ancient days of Noah, the waters, the storehouses from underground were opened up. It wasn't just rain. What were those storehouses opened up underground? Well, the latest discovery that they just discovered is that, oh my gosh, underneath the mantle isn't just a bunch of liquid iron core. It's actually water. It's a bigger ocean than we have on the surface. So those are the storehouses. So what would make that water come up through the ground as well? Well, big time polar shifts, the sun, things that the sun's doing. Don't listen to me about the sun. There are a lot of people out there, a lot of channels that are talking about what the sun is doing. I don't need to repeat it. You can find them. They're out there. Diamond, Oppenheimer Ranch is one of them. Diamond is paying very close attention to all these things. He has a lot of other content. If you just want to focus specifically on the sun, you got Real BP Earth Watch or Suspicious Observer. Now, they have lots of debates and issues between each other about who's right and who's wrong. But again, always take every single thing, put it on the shelf. Don't judge it right or wrong, but keep it there for wisdom after the fact when you can assemble those things. Never throw something away just because you're offended by it. So I wanted to show you this video because this demonstrates something that is an anomaly, and it was caught on many videos. It's not manufactured. So I want to play this. This is in China, as I said, and this is literally looks like plasma or lightning coming up from the earth and hitting the side of this building and taking something off of it and kind of lighting fire almost to the air. It's very odd. So let's watch this.
哎呦我操！哎呦我操！哎呦我操！哎呦我操！
Different view. That is crazy. I've never seen anything like that. Now, this is supposed to also be a weapon. Yes, somebody just said in chat, weapon. Yes.
哎呦我路上了，
I have a different opinion about this.
就这，就还是那样，
I believe this is the
一
earth
样的，这回更猛烈。
reacting.
我操，咋的了是啊？
Amazing footage.
看，我又录着了！我操！
You've got to really be amazed at that footage. That's some amazing stuff. Let me pause this again. But absolutely incredible footage. And oh my gosh, I'm going to play you this too. So we're just going through, like I said, this is about testing the studio. Also, I wanted to give you some words about the most important thing. What I wanted to make sure that I covered today was reminding yourself every day. Again, I'm going to say that again. Remind yourself and everybody around you about what condition the world is in right now and where it's going. Because let me just say this. I don't know whether you know or whether you've contemplated it. But even in our state right now, what I'd say, people that are woken, people that are awake, people that are paying attention, people that are self-aware, no matter how self-aware you are right now, we fight the recognition of what is taking place. We will not vote ourselves out of this. It will end as scripture says. It will be awful, just as it says. And even if it is man-made, so be it. My point is, it can't be stopped. This is the reason why Christ said, do you see all of these things? Rumors of wars, and more rumors of wars. That's where we're at. What did he say? Let your hearts not be troubled. All of these things must come to pass. And then, as always, talks about the Father and who he is in you, and you better know him. And you better know that you're the Son. And you better understand that. The only begotten Son, for those Christians that have just joined and never seen this channel before, the only begotten Son doesn't mean the only one. It just means the firstborn of many. It doesn't mean anything else. Not in any language, not on any universe. You've been deceived. You need to be who Christ told you to be. And let's talk about Christ and who he looks like. What does Christ look like? What does the return look like? Well, I'm going to show you right now. Here's what I see the return looks like. Someone like this. This is the doctor that you've seen, a Nigerian doctor that lives here in the U.S. Very spiritual. She's spiritual first, as Malia said, spiritual first, Christ-based first, and doctor second, American third, Nigerian fourth. So listen to what she says, because she came out with these videos and she's being attacked because she's curing patients herself. She's a doctor. She has an oath to uphold as a doctor to do what? To do everything she can to save their lives, regardless of what someone else says, regardless of what the media says or an organization or a government. Her oath is to the people she serves, and those are her patients. So she, in her mind, can sit here and say the things she's about to say because she's come after and said, I'm curing these patients. I've had hundreds of them that have this sickness, and I've cured them, and they're all fine. 100% of them. that should be valid, but it's not. So she's being attacked because it doesn't follow the narrative of we need the whole world to fall to pieces because this is a planned economic shutdown. Damn it. Don't you know that? But listen to the beauty of her, because her passion for her oath to another human being supersedes everything, and she's ready to rock. I love her.
Run afoul of your medical license.
Hold on, got to share this.
You're gonna run afoul of your medical license if you start doing that, aren't you?
My medical license?
Yeah.
So you think that I should defend my medical license over people dying? Over people dying?
Aren't you worried about losing it?
Losing what?
Your
Medical
TMB
license?
license, yeah.
Really? Let TMB come after me. I should let people die because I'm scared of TMB. Or I should let people die because I'm scared of Anthony Fauci. I should let people die because I'm scared of WHO. I'm not scared of any of them. I'm not going to let people die. And if they come after me, it's going to be on.
You're gonna run afoul of your medical license if you start
You got to
doing that,
love
aren't
her.
you?
If they come after me, it's going to be on. You got to love her. That's what I mean. See, if they come after you, I got to fight for you. If they come after me, I'm going to fight for myself. I'm good. And what I mean by fight is the weapons that I have. What weapon do I have? What I know in me. And that means that none of this, nothing, not this cup of water, nothing here matters. It tries to convince you it does. Hell, it's called matter. It doesn't. Why? Well, it's beneath you. Literally. It's beneath you. Matter is beneath you. You manifest that matter. You move the matter. We move these things. We create these things. The Father that we know, that created us, creates all things. Only the enemy makes this important. Only the enemy does. Makes it important to you, forgetting that you create. How could this be important? Is the dirt under your feet important for you? It is if you admire it for what it can provide to you and you honor it, whether or not you think that that's something that you should do. That's called grounding yourself. Putting your feet firmly planted on the soil of this earth and recognizing that the matter that is here is created by who? Created by Pops. This is ours. Nobody's controlling this. It'll be destroyed before we let someone else come and take it. End of story. When you want to know what's really going to happen, go inside yourself. Don't look for somebody on YouTube to tell you what it is. Find somebody to do what I've tried to do, which is turn over a rock and say, look at what's under there. Do you see what I see? Let them respond. Don't try to forcefully wake anybody up today. It's not going to happen. Try to find a question that they have inside themselves about what's going on and answer that question if you can.
My medical license? Yeah.
If you can. And if you can't, point them in a direction of somebody that can, somebody that has shown you. Give your testimony. Speak it directly. Why do you feel, and this is what you're going to answer in a testimony today, why is it that you're not worried? Why is it you're not scared of this thing? You don't have to go into the circumstances of cabals and magic and Baal and all that unless that's their thing. The only thing they need to see is your comfort in discomforting times. If you can show them how to be comfortable in a discomforting time, well, you're that person that finds the lion that has the thorn in his paw, can't get it out, and you remove it. Because without that removed, he's not a lion. He's prey. Remove the thorn, he can actually operate as the king he was. That's what I'm here to do. I love you all very much, and I'll talk to you again.